Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Say More podcast. I have a really special guest today, Jessy Bouchard. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Great. It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Um, really appreciate you being here and kind of telling your story today. So, one of the things that I focus on in my podcast is destigmatizing behavioral health.
Mm.
Um, and I like to say that at the beginning because it's important for our listeners to understand that this is really the goal. And we can't destigmatize behavioral health
Yeah.
without talking about it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, of course.
And, we can't talk about it without feeling comfortable.
Hmm.
So the fact that you're willing to be here today and share your story
Yeah.
truly means everything.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'd love to start with you kind of sharing a little bit about yourself, introducing yourself so people can get to know you.
Yeah, sure. So I was born Rochester, New Hampshire. Moved to Salisbury at a pretty young age, Salisbury, Mass. Went to Amesbury High School, had a pretty normal childhood. Joined the military when I was 19, just because of how long I was in the delayed entry program for. Spent 6 years in the military, got out in 2016, did a little bouncing around between Virginia, Massachusetts, and Maine. Uh, but now I'm here back in Massachusetts, 36, and just loving life, living day to day, and just enjoying it.
Yeah, that sounds great. I love that
Thank
you're in
you.
a place now where you can just see on your face like you're happy, you're in the moment, which is a
Mhm.
beautiful thing. Mentioned kind of earlier on in the introduction is that this podcast is focused on really reducing shame around behavioral health, and I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about what mental health means to you.
Oh, okay. So as
Yeah.
far as mental health, it's for me, it is like how the mind moves the body through life. Um, if you have terrible mental health, you're gonna physically feel it. It's gonna come out in your emotions and how you interact with other people. So the better quality mental health you have, the better physical and interacting you do with life, in my opinion.
And it's one of those things where I think, as people kind of move through life, they may experience, at different times, varying degrees of kind of mental stability or mental health, and maybe some areas where it's a bit more of a challenge.
Yeah.
I'm wondering for you, when you were kind of enlisted and or in the process of being discharged, what was kind of your mental state at that time? And was there anything that was coming up for you that you kind of acknowledged as maybe I need some support around?
Yeah, so definitely while you're in, or for my experience, when I was in the military, it was definitely a highly paced, motivated, day by day. It, there was no rest. And then going from that to being told what to do on a daily basis, having like stuff you have to actually accomplish, and then being transferred out into into the civilian life, there's really no transition for it. There's like a 1 week course that basically teaches you how to do your taxes. And then they tell you to sign up for disability, which is a very good advice. Uh, but as far as like going from nicotine addiction, alcohol, all those, the regular, just the emotions you're dealing with to get through the day, because there's a lot of anger and a lot of stuff that gets you through just to survive. And then going from a survival mentality to a just living mentality, it's very difficult. It takes a long time and a lot of work. Uh,
That was something that when I was working more in direct care with veterans at the time, we talked a lot about, and that was kind of an area that came up for us, was the transition from military to civilian life, and
mhm.
really kind of the disconnect of not only being prepared for that transition, but
Mhm.
how to kind of not be in that survival mode.
Yeah.
That was really quite a challenge for many of the people that I worked with.
I
It
believe
sounds
it.
like that resonated for you as well.
Oh, definitely. I suffered mental health wise with or I still do with bipolar disorder, and that went undiagnosed as well for a while too. But it was masked because I was depressed all the time. I was drinking. I wasn't taking care of myself, and but once I got diagnosed correctly, sobered up, and got on the medication, like all my problems basically started melting away. It was wonderful.
So, a couple things there that I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about. So,
Yeah.
first of all, I really appreciate that you are so open and willing to kind of talk about a behavioral health diagnosis
Oh yeah, absolutely.
very openly.
Yeah,
I want to thank you for that
of
because
course.
just even doing that is
Mhm.
an act of destigmatizing mental health.
Oh, good.
The fact that we can just name it and talk about it like we're just kind of chatting here, me and you
Yeah,
together,
yeah.
um, I think is really such an example of what it means to put your mental health first, right? You can talk about
Hmm.
it, you can be open about it,
Yep.
um, and it's not something that defines you either,
Oh,
right?
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you talked a little bit too about um, kind of both mental health and substance use
Hmm.
happening for you around the same time.
Yep.
When did the substance use start for you, if you don't mind sharing a little bit about that?
So I want to say the abuse of alcohol probably started once I left the military in 2016. Um, I was able, like during my military career, I was able to have, one or two and then stop. I had a very like reasonable relationship with alcohol. But when I got out of the military, things just started deteriorating pretty quickly, and then I just led to more liquor. Uh,
Yeah, and thank you for sharing that too.
yeah.
This is, I will just say kind of more broadly, that substance use is really a very large concern for
Hmm.
not just people in the military, but particularly in this population. And
Yeah.
one of the things that kind of would always come up for me when I was working with people directly,
Hmm.
and it's this idea of self medication or like self medicating with like alcohol or other substances. Have you heard
Hmm.
about that before? Or are you familiar with that?
Oh, definitely. That is a very, I want to say like beginning stage of alcoholism is just thinking
Mhm.
that, oh, this is actually fixing me.
Mm. And it's kind of tough because I think in the beginning for a lot of people it kind of does work, right? I mean it works in a way where it either numbs you to what you're feeling or what you don't want to be experiencing kind of mentally. It
Yeah.
takes you out of that situation. Maybe you feel more comfortable. You're not as anxious.
Hmm.
Whatever the reason,
Yeah.
it can be effective, right, for some people. But
Yeah. For some people, not definitely not me. I was the just get blacked out every single time. So
yeah, yeah. So for you, you're drinking, and was it only alcohol? Were there other substances?
Yeah, alcohol was the only substance that I abused. I
Okay.
did use marijuana, but I think that's a little, I don't want to say medication,
Hmm.
because, we just said, it's not self-medication, but it's not intoxicating.
Hmm.
I can still have a normal conversation and walk around and take care of my dogs, and it's legal. So,
And it's so the alcohol though really was the substance that it sounds like became problematic for you.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
As you're kind of talking about that journey, what was there a point where you either knew or decided that like it was time for a change?
Yep.
Can you talk to me a little bit about what that was like for you?
Yeah. So I was separated from my daughter's mother. I was living in my grandmother's apartment, and I was just getting blacked out drunk every day. And I woke up one day, January 22nd of 2023, and just was tired of getting sick every day. And I just decided to quit drinking. And it was just like a switch in my head. And I haven't touched alcohol in over 3 years since then.
Wow. So, first of all, congratulations
Thank
for
you.
your sobriety. I think that's so wonderful to talk about and show as an example to others as well that this is possible.
Yeah.
And it sounded like for you, really, that was the point where you knew that it was time for
Yep.
yourself to
Yep.
make that change.
Yep.
Um, Were you also kind of experiencing kind of the mental health piece as well during that time? Was that at all kind of under control? Were you talking with somebody like, or was that just kind of running rampant?
No, I was actually going through therapy. I was having weekly sessions, and I was taking medication at the time. It wasn't the correct medication, but I was, taking what I was prescribed.
Okay. Yeah. So you were kind of working at it in a way that felt comfortable and manageable for you. It's just the drinking part really had become something that needed to,
It had to go, yeah.
yeah, had to
Yeah.
go.
And that was 3 years ago, and I was living in my grandmother's apartment, and now I'm engaged and we're about to buy a house. And that happened in 3 years, so
Oh my God. That's
yeah,
amazing. That's
yeah.
so amazing.
Thank you.
It's really the power of sobriety and what that can do for someone's life, right? How
Yeah,
they turn it around. Yeah,
yeah. 3 years ago, I never would have imagined I'd be in the situation I am today.
yeah, yeah. And we'll talk about that too. It's I'm so glad
Okay.
that you're bringing that up. It's amazing.
Thank you.
You talked about yeah. So you talked about kind of having this 1 week before you were like during separation.
Hmm.
I'd love to talk a little bit about for you um, whether when you were either enlisted or making that transition from military life to civilian life,
Yeah.
what supports were available to you? Did anybody talk to you about like, hey, this
No.
could be a possibility. Let's talk about what was going on for you at that time?
So I was engaged to someone else that was also in the military. She still had a few years left on her enlistment. So I was basically going to be the stay-at-home husband and go to college. College didn't really work out for me. I got a job. The job didn't really pay, nearly what I made in the military. So like the truck that I had at the time, I had to let go, the motorcycle I had to let go. And that stuff just kind of like slowly brought like my depression down. And then when she left for the military, or excuse me, when she left for deployment, um, I was basically alone and I didn't know what to do.
Yeah. And so one of the things that we talk a lot about too, just in the space of behavioral health, is the impact of isolation
Yeah.
and how that can really, what's the word I'm looking for? Can really amplify
Mhm.
someone's depression,
Oh,
anxiety, fill in the blank.
yeah, 100%.
Did you ever have like periods of isolation or did you feel periods of isolation when you were in the military versus like civilian life? I'm wondering how that was different at all for you.
Never felt isolated in the military just because of how camaraderie was. It was like a brother and sisterhood. We had each other's backs. It was nice. And then going from that to the civilian world, where it's like almost the exact opposite. I think that was the struggle.
Yeah, it's and that certainly has come up when I was working with clients too. Is they felt so connected
Hmm.
to the people that they served with.
Yeah.
I think by nature, because of what you experience, especially if you're on deployment or if you see combat,
Hmm.
it's an experience that I think only like 1% of the United States population will get to experience in their life.
Yeah.
So it's highly unique and specialized. And so that really bonds a lot of people.
It does.
And kind of going from that experience
Hmm.
to transitioning into civilian life, um, where you're not seeing those people every day,
Yeah.
um, that can be very hard to
Yeah.
manage.
Definitely. Yeah.
I'm wondering too, Jesse. So there was really kind of no support talked about in terms of like mental health screening, um, just mental health in general coming out of the
Oh,
military. That was that. Did that even exist?
the only advice that they gave was to file for disability within the first year because you'd get back paid from your date of discharge. That was literally the only advice I got about mental health.
So the messaging, it sounds like, for people coming out of the military around
Mhm.
mental health or substance use was really just kind of non-existent.
Oh, okay. Uh,
Do you wish that maybe there was kind of more direct conversations about that?
Definitely. It definitely needs to be a one-on-one screening. There should at least be someone like helping you with housing, with getting you the resources you need as far as like what school you need to talk to if you're going to school, uh, if you're transitioning from a career in the military to a career in the civilian world. That would have been a great option for me because I was a tech person in the military. I could have easily made six figures at Raytheon, but no, yeah. So but yeah, I do agree. Sorry, I'm going off a little bit. Uh,
No, that's okay.
yeah, I definitely agree. It should be one on one, and definitely like a career support specialist or something like that should be involved.
Yeah, I think, it was funny because when you and I met, I will tell if you're comfortable. I
Yeah,
will
yeah, go
tell
ahead.
listeners how we
Yeah.
met and what we were kind of chatting about. So, I met Jesse. It was at a children's birthday party.
Yep.
And both of our daughters were attending.
Yep.
And I was, I still am laid off. So I'm just kind of chatting with people. And my husband was there and we were just, I forget exactly what we were talking about, but
Yeah.
Jesse was standing right next to us. And we got on the topic of, do you remember, Jesse? Do you remember exactly what we were
I
chatting
remember.
about?
I remember he was talking about ETs, FCs, and gunner's mates, and that like just sparked my interest because that's combat system, like fire controlmen, electronic technicians, and the gunner's mates basically made up the combat systems department, which was what I was part of. So when he said those three, I was just like,
Yes. And you jumped in, you were like, oh, hey, are you talking about this? And
yeah,
so what happened was like immediately you and my husband were just in it, like just
yep,
chatting,
yep,
talking, very comfortable, right? Like I
yep.
think you just unspoken experience about what that was like. So just like immediate.
I mean, honestly, I went from like going to a birthday party to like almost being like on a base talking to like another person that was in the service. Like that's kind of what it felt like. It kind of felt like being at home again.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that came out of that conversation was I wish that there was a support network
Hmm.
for younger veterans.
I 100% agree. Yeah.
So we chatted about that, and
Yeah.
I took a chance and I asked you, "Hey, I'm starting a podcast. Would you like to be a guest?"
Yeah.
And you
Yeah, I'm
said,
honored. I love this. This is great.
and I was just so happy that you said yes.
Thank you.
And I think we need to be there for each other,
Hmm.
and we can't do that without like getting out of our comfort zone and just like even you jumping into that conversation. Like you could have easily not done that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if it was anything else, military related, I probably wouldn't have. But because he said ETs and FCs, like I was electronics technician. That's what ET stands for. So I was like, yep, I know this person already.
Yeah. And I had, we didn't know each other before this
No,
birthday party. And
no,
so,
no.
um, what a great example of like just getting out there and talking with
Yeah,
people because that's really like, we need that, right? We
yeah,
need to feel
yeah.
connected. We need to reach out and talk to people.
Hmm.
And So I think that was just like such a great experience,
I
and
agree. I
that
agree.
happens.
Yeah.
um, and of course, our daughters had a great time, so
They
that
did.
was also nice
Oh,
to
it
see.
was wonderful. They had such a great time.
Yeah. Um, no, and yeah, one of those things that we were kind of also talking about was I wish there was more of a support network for younger veterans, and
Yeah.
I think there are some supports out there, right?
Mhm. Yep.
But it's like where are the groups? Where is like the actual network of people that can connect to each other? And I think
Right.
that would go a long way in terms of not feeling isolated, right?
Definitely. I have gone to a couple events, but they are mostly like veteran or Vietnam era or older, which is great to be around, but it's different when you're around someone your own age that's been through something simple, like your husband, for example, was in the Navy. He was a gunner's mate, and I wanted to be a gunner's mate, so I can relate with him a lot more than I could someone else.
Yeah, and it's that's I think he had similar feedback too, where and
Hmm.
again it's great to meet anyone that has been in the military previously and has kind of
Yeah.
understood that life. But I
Mhm.
think there's something very special about meeting somebody like your own age with
Yep.
kind of similar interests.
Yeah.
Um, and that I think would go a long way for sure.
Agree. 100%.
Okay. All right. You talked about kind of being 3 years in recovery. What
Yes.
does recovery mean to you?
So well, definitely no substance. So uh, for me, alcohol. Um, and then what does it mean to me? I guess just well, I mean, it means everything, but it was the ability to get my daughter back in my life. I think that really did it. Um, at least that's what keeps me going. Even if I didn't have her, I still would be sober, but I think she's the one that keeps me like trying to be the best person I can be.
Yeah, that was one
Right.
of my questions for you too, Jesse, was what keeps
Yeah.
you motivated to be in recovery and to stay sober?
Yeah, having that little human look up to me is like the craziest thing in the world, that I can be like a role model for someone, even in my position. So I try to be as happy, as healthy, as motivating, positively motivating, of course, as I can be as a dad, and just try to be the best friend I can be too.
What I will say about that, Jesse, is, even from the interaction that we had at the birthday party, I mean, that was incredibly evident to me
Hmm.
how present and available you are to your daughter.
Thank you.
I want to share that with you because
Yeah.
I fully saw that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really such a gift that you can be there for her in that way.
100%. 3 years ago, I couldn't. So
Yeah.
I can give her my full attention and not think about the next drink.
hmm
Hmm.
And it's also an example to her. Of course, she's young, so she doesn't know the details.
Hmm.
Really, I'm sure she knows that dad was in the military at one point.
Yep.
Um, but someday she will understand what that
Yep.
was like for you.
Yeah.
And being able to live now in sobriety, being able to share your story,
Hmm.
that's incredibly powerful. And
Thank
it's
you.
also an example to her,
Yeah.
right, of what it means to be strong,
Hmm.
what it means to live authentically as you
Thank
are,
you. Thank you.
and what it means to like own your story,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that the more that you can continue to live life in that way, um, what an amazing uh, woman she will become to have that
Oh, yeah.
example in her life.
Thank you. Yeah, I am so excited to watch her grow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we talked about too, even at the party, I think like at one point I had said like some people don't even make it to this point,
No.
like being able to sit in a chair
Hmm.
in a crowded room with
Yep.
screaming children.
Yeah. It's not easy. But you're
Like not,
absolutely right.
yeah, like not feeling on edge. I mean, maybe you did feel on edge, but I didn't see that.
No. Yeah.
It didn't come across. You came across as very, honestly, very comfortable in that situation.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that that took a lot of work to get to that point.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
I did feel very comfortable. I mean, my guard was up, but that's just because I didn't know anyone there really, including the children. So I just was paying attention, making sure my daughter behaved, and just stood quietly in the corner, mind my own business. Yeah.
Yes, and one of the things too, I will just share with our listeners is we were in a couple of rooms like in that
Mhm.
party. We had kind of moved. It was a center, so we were moving from room to room to room with different activities. There was a lot. There was a lot going on, and it was so fun. But there was a lot going on, and one of the things that I noticed about you, Jesse, was that um, you were standing. This was before like we even got into the conversation with you and my husband. Like we
Yeah.
were kind of standing next to each other,
Yeah.
hadn't talked yet.
Hmm.
Um, and one of the things that I noticed was that your back was to the window and you were looking at the door.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for anyone that's don't know they don't know what that means, can you share a little bit about what that means?
For me, it's just like always knowing where the exits are, knowing where what threats could possibly come from, just always being aware of your surroundings.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you for sharing that. I wanted people
absolutely.
to understand why that's important to know because if you see someone that's in that position, you probably can have an understanding of why that might be. And
Yeah.
so I had noticed that about you. I didn't say anything, but I
Yeah.
noticed.
Thank you.
It's like, all right, how can I make this person comfortable? So like I didn't stand too close.
Oh, yeah.
I was aware of you.
Hmm.
And I know I saw your sweater. You're wearing a
Oh,
sweater.
yeah, I'm swearing the same one.
Okay. Represent, yes.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, I kind of had some thoughts about who you might be. Um,
Hmm.
and I'm just so glad that we ended up meeting and like
Yeah,
chatting. And I
me
think it's a
too.
great connection. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm glad. I think that you guys felt safe around me. I think that's the main thing is like I've always felt like I've had a very threatening like uh I don't know aura, I guess. I don't know how to say it, but like I feel like people are more afraid of me than they are like afraid of talking to me than they are coming up to me and saying hi. So I'm very glad you didn't have that kind of a feeling.
Oh, I didn't at all.
Okay, good.
Jesse, would you mind explaining a little bit about that? I mean, could you share a little bit about why you think people have that perception of you?
Um, I'm covered in tattoos. I don't talk very much. I don't smile very often unless someone's like actually engaging with me. I kind of have just a resting face, and uh, from my experience in outside of the military, like people don't want to come up to someone who looks like me, with the beard and I wear the hat just so people know like I'm military most of the time, and you know, but as far as like being friendly, I just feel like I haven't had that much of a persona of myself.
And I'm wondering, is it almost like a protective measure in a way? Sometimes people kind of present themselves in a particular way so that maybe they don't interact with somebody else, or that if it's they're trying to protect their own mental health in some way. I'm curious if that resonates for you at all.
No, definitely. I mean, part of my appearance was also to like was a self-defense thing. I spent way too much time in the gym, and I did a lot of you know um, combat training. Like I can handle myself very comfortably in almost any situation you put in front of me, and having that like knowledge and like that experience, it's kind of hard to like go from that to like just being a docile human. Like, I don't think it's even possible, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
great point that you bring up because these experiences, and again, it's so many years of your life were spent, highly trained,
Hmm.
highly focused, very
Yeah.
technical.
Yeah.
Um, Really, at any point, you could, as you said, you can handle yourself with
Yeah.
anyone that approaches, right?
Right. Yeah.
And that is, it never leaves you.
No.
It never
Yeah.
leaves you.
No. Yeah.
Um, and I think that maybe that's kind of a stereotype that we can challenge right here is that um, I think maybe people have this understanding of people coming out of the military and like they'll just kind of go back to who they were or,
Oh, yeah. No,
you know,
they're a completely different person. Yeah.
yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, yeah, sure. So I don't want to say like brainwashing, but the amount of like trauma that you go through, trauma bonding, I think is what they refer to it as in the military. Like you're so close to each other, it's almost unhealthy. So when you come out, it's like trying to break and almost an addiction, really.
Yeah, and it's I think too, and you can maybe speak more to this than I, but being in the military with that high level of training and qualifications and etc. Right, fill in the blank.
Yeah.
You you become someone again. It's you are transformed. You will not go back to the person who you were before you enlisted.
Yeah.
And it's how do I manage that
Hmm.
going into civilian life and
Yeah.
trying to like be normal,
Right.
whatever
And
that word means. I hate that word, but like
yeah.
reintegrate, right?
Yeah, and then not to mention like my service was 19 to 25, and I believe like that's you're still growing in those years. Like you're still not a full adult at 18 or 19 years old. Like so I'm developing um still in my mind in a military environment.
Absolutely. So you bring up a great point, Jesse. The prefrontal cortex, which is
Yeah.
the part of the brain in the front that
Hmm.
is responsible for like decision making and impulse management, rational thinking,
Yeah.
emotional regulation.
Yeah.
It does not fully develop until you're about 26.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So you have like 18-year-olds in the military um, with like insane demands,
Yeah.
requirements,
Hmm.
expectations,
Hmm.
and your brain is like is firing all the time, and it's like that becomes your reality.
That's your new norm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and so taking that with you, I'm not surprised that mental health and substance use are such a challenge for this population.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean we have watches that are 24 hours. So like for instance, my watch was usually from midnight to 4 a.m. So the amount of caffeine and nicotine that you're using to stay awake, to keep going, and then if you have like the 12 to 4 watch, well, you still have to wake up at 6 to go to work the next morning. So it, it's like another cup of coffee,
Yeah, I mean it's honestly like survival. I mean you do what you can to what you need to do to get by.
Exactly. Yeah. Very physically unhealthy because you're basically draining your body of everything.
Yeah, and then you're expected if you do deploy, if you go on deployment, if you see combat, you're expected to essentially be perfect in
Yeah.
everything, every decision, every step that you are taking
Yep.
to get the job done,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And what impact that has on a
Hmm.
developing brain.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. And so I was on the USS Harley Burke, and it was commissioned in 91. And I went on deployment in 2012 and 14. So our ship was, 20 plus years old, and we still had to perform as if it was day one on our ship. So having all of our system, we
Wow.
literally had like 18-hour days for like 2 months up to our deployment. They called it in-serve to make sure all of our gear was operational, up to standards, and it was exhausting. And then that was our pre-deployment. Yeah.
And that's not even the deployment.
Right, that wasn't even the deployment.
It's I know it's like we're talking about it now, right? We're kind of laughing about it, but I mean,
Yeah.
truly the amount of sacrifice and dedication and
Oh yeah.
just kind of giving yourself
Yeah.
to this cause, this purpose, this mission.
Yeah.
I don't think many people can understand what that is like unless you've been through it.
Do it. Yeah. It is life altering. That's for sure.
And I think that that really plays into this feeling of isolation too, right?
Hmm.
Because who else is going to understand this? Even coming out, even let's say you find like a therapist, right? That,
Hmm.
okay, has some specialization with working with this population.
Yeah.
Do you even feel comfortable though? Like truly opening up to this person who has no idea, let's
Yeah.
say, what you have experienced.
It's taken me probably 7 or 8 years and a lot of therapists to get to the point that I'm at today, where I can actually sit down, talk about my problems, and like come up with solutions.
I'm really glad that you mentioned this, Jesse. I think this is an important point for our viewers too, is to
Hmm.
understand that sometimes treatment, um, may take a while to find
Yeah.
like the right fit, especially
Yeah.
with a therapist.
Absolutely.
So, can you, if you don't mind, would you share a little bit about what that was like for you? First of all, deciding that you were ready to try therapy and what that was like finding the right fit.
Yeah. So I knew. I think I knew around the time my daughter was born that I needed more help. I started doing weekly therapy sessions with a therapist, and I saw a psychiatrist monthly for medication. Um, that w- that was ongoing for a while, but it was difficult because I was drinking and I wasn't on bipolar medication. So I was still having manic episodes. Drinking obviously made that worse. Um, so it wasn't until my sobriety that I was able to actually focus and like grasp therapy and actually make progress.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I think there's this there can be this myth that like really be you can't be like effective in therapy unless like the substance use is under control, which I think for some people yes, but
Yeah.
it's also like at least from my side, we try to operate from like a harm reduction approach.
Well, that's exactly right. I think if someone is using a substance and they're going to therapy, I think for the therapist, it shouldn't be to like just cut it immediately. It should be to step down to a healthy level of zero. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just I wanted to mention that because I think that can be kind of a myth out there. It's like, oh, well,
Hmm.
you can't start therapy unless you're 100% sober. But it's like, I think we as a therapy community, a therapist clinician community need to do better for our people, right? And like harm reduction is a way to do that. And,
Hmm.
it supports the person where they are now.
Yeah.
Obviously in a health and safe, safe way.
Yeah.
Um, but at least it gets the person like in the door.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be a little off topic, but one of the pieces of advice that I got from therapy was the 1% rule. Like every day, just try to be 1% better than you were yesterday. And eventually, like the 1% will turn into 2% and then 5%. And then it just goes like that. So, and I've used that myself. I've given that advice to a couple other people and they've came back to me and was like, dude, I don't know what you did, but thank you. So if I could give anyone anything, it would just be the 1% rule.
Right. And I
Yeah.
think it's really motivational for people because it makes it attainable.
Yeah.
Um, I don't need to like fully fix myself by tomorrow.
No.
I just need to do 1% better.
Yes, exactly. Like you want to get fit, do one push up, and then tomorrow do two. Like that's it. Just start there, and you'll see where in a week or 2 weeks you're gonna be so far further than you thought you would. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I think it also gives people like a sense of control maybe again,
Yes.
maybe when they're feeling out of control with their life or their situation or like okay, even their drinking,
Hmm.
could you cut back to 6 beers a day instead of 7?
Yeah.
Like, could we
Exactly.
try that and see how
Yeah.
that works for a week or two and report like let's hear the feedback on that, right? So
Yeah.
it's not like you need to stop doing this now
Yeah.
because who's going to respond to that?
No. Yeah.
Not many people.
Not many.
Yeah, so I love that you have shared that with others as well
Yeah.
and that it's been effective for them too.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
This I like this question a lot. Are there any resources that you want other veterans or service members to know about that maybe
Yes.
they might not know about?
Yes. So every town has a veteran service officer that's assigned to them. So it might be in your town or it might be like a neighboring town. But the veteran service officer is usually a prior veteran or someone who knows a lot about the system. And you can walk in there and know nothing, and they will help you with everything everything that the VA can assist you with, which is a lot. And one of those things is your disability. They can help you get your DD 214 if you don't have one. They can make all the appointments. They can even help with transportation if you don't have it. Uh, so that's a great starting point for anyone who just doesn't know what to do. Is visit your local VSO. That would be my best advice.
Thank you so much for sharing that,
Yeah,
Jesse.
you're welcome.
And one of the things too, Jesse, I'm not sure if you want to share, but
Mhm.
is the process of service connection. So,
Yeah.
for those that might not know what that is, could you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's very similar to Social Security, but it's only for veterans being through the VA. It is a 0 to 100% scale. So even if you aren't fully disabled, you could still get a 50% disability rating. And any percentage, even zero, is beneficial because that opens a lot of doors as far as like healthcare like all your healthcare needs are taken care of through the VA. So like physicals, doctor's appointments, medication, stuff like that. So that's a great resource, even if you get zero. 10% I think is somewhere around like $200. So I mean, there's your gas money for the month. I'm at 100%, and I'm able to pay all of my bills with my disability. So I'm very comfortable with that.
I think that's such an important resource for
Hmm.
this population to be aware of.
Yep.
I guess what I'm wondering is like if you come out of the military and
Hmm.
you are diagnosed, let's say, with post traumatic stress disorder,
Yep.
PTSD,
Yep.
is that something that, like, through service connection, you would be able to receive disability for?
100%. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. My actual disability is for depression. So I'm 100% and permanent and total. So I never have to go back for a review or anything like that.
Okay, wow.
Yep.
Wow. So that was something that really has made a huge difference for you, just in terms of like quality of life, right?
Yeah.
Like going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I went from working like 50, 60 hours a week to making more than that on just my disability, staying home, taking care of my daughter. Yeah.
So this was like life changing for you.
It was. Yeah. 100%.
And you know what, Jesse? You wouldn't have been able to get this service connection if you didn't feel that you could open up and talk about it, right?
100%. Yeah. I mean, I was self-medicating with alcohol, just getting through the day and nicotine, caffeine to push me through the work day and doing the best I could to make as much money as I could. And that was, my goal in life. So now my goal is completely different.
So if you were to encounter someone, let's say,
Hmm.
and you found out that they were prior military
Hmm.
and they were a little bit hesitant or uneasy to, let's say, open up to somebody about their mental health,
Yeah.
what would you like to say to them?
Um, I guess the benefits far outweigh the not doing it. You're most of the time you're in a one-on-one environment. All of my therapy sessions have been virtual with one person. The max that I've ever had was two, and that was just because it was an interview, and the person interviewing needed shadowing or something like that. But it was still a very, comfortable environment. I felt like I was the center of attention, not them, and that they were there for my help, not just to be there.
So it's really, it sounds like something that you would recommend that people really think about, even if they, let's say, have some fear about opening up to somebody else,
Mhm.
that maybe the outcome is far greater than maybe what they're thinking.
I mean, I don't want to. So it's like embrace the suck. Sorry, that's what we say.
Yeah, I've heard that
Uh,
too.
yeah, yeah. So you just sometimes you got to go through some really shitty parts in life to get to the other end, and talking to someone and getting the help is part of it. But like I said, it far outweighs it. You just you got to do it.
Well, and it's life changing. I think this is the beauty of this podcast is because I have somebody here today who, like you said, like people don't approach you. You are someone that protects yourself, and the fact that you agreed to even do this today, that you jumped into the conversation with my husband so easily, that
Yeah.
you're talking about mental health, you're talking
Mhm.
about substances, you're talking about challenges with you know being a veteran.
Yeah.
That all matters.
Thank
That
you.
is all valuable.
Yeah.
We can't expect change without being the change.
Right. Yeah.
And you are the change.
Thank you.
This is the change.
Thank
And
you.
it makes me so proud to have a platform like this with people like you that
Thank you.
can share. This is what it's all about. And what an example you are to other people. Again, not even just service members or veterans, but
Hmm.
as a whole.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of barriers that prevent people, especially military,
Hmm.
from feeling comfortable to talk about these topics.
Yeah.
So if they see someone like you opening up, sharing,
Yeah.
really being honest
Yeah.
with what was like,
Yeah.
maybe they'll feel more likely to try something new as well.
I hope so. I really hope so.
One of the questions, kind of the last question I have for you, Jesse, is what do you hope listeners walk away with from today's conversation?
Yeah. Well, going back to what you just said, I hope that one veteran reaches out to someone that needs help. Even if it's just one, that would be enough for me.
I so appreciate that. I wish the best for you, for your family.
Thank you.
I know that we'll stay in touch. I mean,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Of course.
Like friends for life now.
Yay.
And again, I'm so grateful that you agreed to be on today's podcast. We need people like you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I'm honored.
Now, if people want to keep up with you, follow your
Yeah.
journey, can they
Yeah.
reach you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, I prefer Facebook. I have a public profile, just Jessy Bouchard. You're more than welcome to follow me. Send me your friend request. I'd be more than happy to chat and answer questions. Okay,
Jesse, thank you so much for being here. I like truly means so much to me.
absolutely.
I know that your story will impact others. I fully believe that. And keep being you because it's you're a wonderful person.
I will. Thank you very much.
All right, Jesse, we'll talk later.
All right, have a great day.
All right, thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.